Okay, everybody, again, thanks for joining me today. My name is David Freed, and I'm going to be going through the webinar. This webinar is going to be a little different. Normally, we focus on specific topics for vendors or agencies, but today we will cover topics for both. Most of you use both GovSpend and GovQuote, and this webinar will show you how to use GovQuote along with the GovSpend product. Remember, the goal of GovQuote is to build an online marketplace that simplifies the quoting process while remaining transparent. We do this by building a community of agencies and trusted vendors who work together throughout the RFQ process. I do want to encourage everyone to ask questions via chat during the webinar, as we will be answering questions live. We will also answer some questions after the webinar, time permitting. As always, we will post the webinar online, but this time we'll post two, one that answers vendor questions and one that answers questions from agencies. Okay, so to start with here, we're going to be looking at in a RFQ. So this is a published RFQ, and for you vendors, this is how the agencies see the RFQ. So you see that this was something that was published today. We can see what they're seeking, this Fujitsu ScanSnap IX500. They selected their categories and gave the details. It's pretty basic because they're looking for the exact model of this printer. And we can see that they got 3 quotes. Now the 3 quotes are going to populate over here. So we can see the first one is from Bob's Discount Warehouse for $350. We have another one from a company just called Company for $403. We can see that they have their socioeconomic status listed there. There's a few different ones. And then the last one is a vendor called Freed at $446. So the first thing that we want to know as an agency is how can we confirm if our price is an accurate price? We can jump over to our GovSpend product to our price check module. Here we can enter the actual make or model of the product that we want. So we're looking for the IX500. We type in the price we were quoted. The one price was $403. We hit the search button, and it's going to break our price down into one of 4 categories: poor, fair, good, or great. You can see this price that we received a quote for is coming up under good. Now this is comparing close to 5,000 purchase orders from over 11,000 agencies. So this is pretty well vetted that this is a good price, meaning it's a little bit better than what other agencies were paying for it. But we don't have to just stop there. We can jump over to another module, which is the search historical spending. Here we're going to build a very simple and quick search. You see that we type the model number in, so we want to start very specific, and then we just added 2 filters. And this is going to be important for both agencies and vendors when you're coming in and building this search. First of all, we know that we're not going to pay over 500, or for vendors, we're not going to sell it for over 500. So we want to eliminate all of those higher purchase orders, so we put this price in here as 500. Next, we want to eliminate all of the sort of outliers, so any accessories that might come along with this printer that aren't necessarily the actual SnapScan IX500. So in order to do that, I just put a price in of 300. And the last filter I use is just narrowing it down to the past 180 days. So this returned a search with these results. We have 261 purchases from 140 agency and 55 companies. Now, when we look at this, we can see that the prices do vary a lot for this item. The first thing that you'll notice is that this first one is refurbished. Now, this is going to be very important for both agencies and vendors. Some agencies have a preference to buy refurbished electronics because they are cheaper, whereas other agencies have a policy that they are not allowed to buy refurbished products. Agencies, you should specify this when you publish your request for quote on GovQuote, but vendors, you can always double check, especially if you don't see it listed. You can message the agency through GovQuote and ask if a refurbished product is okay. You can always provide 2 quotes to them too. You can provide one for brand new and one for refurbished. When you do provide your quote, you do want to make sure to put it on a PDF or a Word document and add it as an attachment when you are quoting the agency. This will allow you to put your name, your company's letterhead, your email, your phone number, all the details about your company, so the agency does have that. A lot of times, the person that is actually building the RFQ and requesting the quote is not the one that's actually making the final decision or the expert in the subject matter. So sometimes they'll take this information and forward it to an end user or somebody within a department that is actually looking for this product. It's going to be easier for them if they have that PDF that they can just print off and send over. So diving back into this search, we can see that there are a few cheaper ones here. So we want to go in and look at one of these cheaper quotes. By clicking on the vendor name, it's going to bring up a vendor profile. So let's say that this one, it was a cheaper price, and we want to learn a little bit more about this vendor, or we want to actually reach out to them and bring them on GovQuote to quote. So by clicking on the vendor name and then coming down here to contacts, we can see that they did provide an email address and a phone number. Now, agencies have the ability to share their requests with any vendor. So they can easily go hit the share request button, copy this email, and send that link to the vendor to come on the GovQuote and make sure that they are quoting you. You obviously, as an agency, know that you can go to the Invite Vendor tab and just put in the email there, and it will send an email out from GovQuote to that vendor saying that you are requesting them to quote the site. And another way you can do it, in the bottom right-hand corner, is our chat feature. If you want to keep your anonymity, but go out and reach out to that vendor, you can have us do it. There's really not a reason for you to reach out to the vendor when we are able to do it for you. Okay, so now I want to go back to our search and see how vendors can use this search. So we go back to the exact same search here. We have the same search up here, the same filters on the side, but instead of clicking on the companies tab, we're actually going to click on the agencies tab. So this is going to show us all the agencies that purchase this product. So we can see here, I open one up just by clicking on the name, that we're looking at the Department of Justice. Let's say I'm a vendor and I know that the Department of Justice is going to be requesting a quote for this same product. I want to look back and see the last time that they bought this and see exactly how much they paid for this product. So now I know they'll probably at least get the same quote from the last vendor of the $381.50. I can match it or give a better quote. We do have a lot of vendors that always chat in asking, why am I not winning these quotes? You do want to make sure to come to GovSpend to double check to make sure that your price is competitive. If you are not winning quotes, GovSpend is going to be a great way for you to research to see in regions what agencies are paying for the same products. Another way that agencies can use this is by vetting out a vendor. So for example, again, we clicked on the companies tab here and we're looking at a company, named company. This is the one that gave us our quote on our RFQ. And we want to learn a little bit more about them. We can see who they're working with. The easiest way to do this is I added one additional filter. I filtered it down to my state of Florida. So now it narrowed down those purchase orders from nationwide just to be a little bit more local for me. Maybe I know somebody with the Orange County Board of County Commissioners that I can reach out to and ask how their experience went with this vendor. Remember, price is not always the driving factor for RFQs being awarded. In fact, 22% of all RFQs are awarded based off of quality, availability, and shipping, not price. Just because you are the lowest price does not necessarily mean that you are going to win that RFQ. Because again, remember, we're building a community of trusted vendors. Agencies like to talk to each other and learn who had good experiences with vendors. Okay, so now I just want to go back to our original RFQ here. So we can see, again, that we have 3 quotes here. And in this case, after doing all of our research, we like the company. We can see that they're a small business, minority-owned, women-owned, African-American-owned business. Even though Bob's Discount Warehouse might be the lowest price, it's not necessarily the best price that we're going to go with. And again, I want to remind everybody that our job here is to connect agencies with local vendors, and that's really what we strive to do. That is our mission here, and we want to make the RFQ process simple and easy for everybody to use. You can always feel free to reach out to us in the chat in the bottom right-hand corner, and if you would like to learn more about GovQuote, you can just go to govquote.us as you see at the top here. Come in and chat with us or sign up for your free account if you have not used GovQuote yet. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me today. We will be taking some questions. Remember, we will post 2 videos, one for answers to questions from agencies and one to answer for questions from vendors. But thanks for joining me, everyone.